rediscovered champions. This is the biggest circuit racing in the country today. This is Yamaha Grand Prix, the only circuit race that covers Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao in search for champions. Yamaha Grand Prix is also the qualifying race series for the 10th Yamaha ASEAN Cup to be held in Indonesia, one of the prestigious Yamaha race events in the ASEAN region, participated by multiple countries. This year, YGP on its 4th season staged 7 races, with 2 races happening in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao respectively, and the finals was staged in Metro Manila. This is where we will determine who will represent the country for the 10th Yamaha ASEAN Cup in Indonesia. Leg 1 in Marikina City. In the ACR 125MX, it was a tight race between Victor Laude, Arlan de la Cruz, and Aljon Valencia all the way. Laude and de la Cruz exchanged leads from 6th to 9th lap, and suddenly Laude finding himself at the back of the race leader Valencia. But on the last lap, last corner of the track, Laude took a gamble and passed Valencia, taking on the checkered flag, winning the ACR 125MX class. In the ACR 135MX, Lorenzo Reliosa started at pole and never looked back, making sure that he will be the first crowned champion of the ACR 135. Leg 2 in Santa Rosa, Laguna. In the ACR 125, Arlan de la Cruz, who wasn't able to get a win during the first leg in Marikina City, made sure that he get this on the bag, led the race all the way to the checkered flag. In the ACR 135, Paul Mark Doblada was leading the race all the way, and Victor Laude was slowly taking on 1 lap at a time and eating up his lead. And on the final lap, Victor Laude showed supremacy on crunch time moves, made a pass on Doblada on the chicane, winning the race eventually. Leg 3 in Cagayan de Oro City. In the 115 Superstock class, Jess Louis Vega of Cebu was leading the race. But on the 9th lap, a novice racer, Dan Carlos of Malay-Balay Bukidnon, saw an opening and took the gamble and led the race to the checkered flag. In the 115 Superstock class, Vinju Coloma led the race from start to finish, taking on his first win of the series, signifying his intention of being one of the sought-after racer in the field. The 4th leg of YGP was held in Davao City. In the 115 Superstock class, Bon Jovi Villan was on pole position, but Ernie Daggio Jr. was able to get the lead on first corner hole shot and eventually winning the race. And Arlan de la Cruz, who started 3rd position eyeing on Daggio, was able to get past Villan and finish the race strong 2nd. In the ACR 125MX category, Ricardo Candia was on pole position. However, Arlan de la Cruz was able to get the lead from Candia in the first lap and never looked back and eventually won the race. The real story in this category was Vinji Coloma, who went down in the opening stage of the race but climbed slowly, making his way, taking on 1 position at a time, and eventually finding himself at the back of the 2nd position rider, Ricardo Candia. Coloma saw an opening and made a pass, getting a strong 2nd place. Leg number 5 in Danao City. In the 115 Superstock class, Vinji Coloma was leading all the way as Bacos was trailing behind him, pressuring Coloma to make a mistake. As back markers came into the path of Coloma and Bacos, Silet Quizon, one of the riders of Yamaha, was given a blue flag but refuses to acknowledge as Coloma tried to take the back marker on the outside, and Bacos saw the back marker traffic, took advantage of the situation. Coloma hit part of the rice hulls at the last corner of the track, which eventually causes problem on his bike and failed to finish the race. Clifford Bacos won the race. In the ACR 125 MX, a much exciting finish for the top racers. It was a tight race between Arlan de la Cruz, Vinci Coloma, and Ernie Daggio Jr. De la Cruz was leading most of the race, Coloma and Daggio in second and third respectively. Coloma was pressuring De La Cruz in every corner as the race comes to a close. The pressure mounts on De La Cruz, forces him to skid his rear tires in the last corner, and Coloma bumped onto him. Both Coloma and De La Cruz struggles to get back into racing. Coloma manages to get his balance first, and bike going was able to get second place as De La Cruz settles for third. The sixth leg of the series was held at Dumaguete City. This is the first time Yamaha Grand Prix has set foot in the motorcycle capital of the country. In the 115 Superstock class, Vinci Coloma once again in the limelight of this race. He was leading the race until he went down in the last chicane of the track as Keken Kabahog of Cebu City got the race lead. Coloma stood up and rejoined the race in third position, trailing behind Jonel Intas. Coloma was able to get past Intas, sets his eyes on Kabahog, who is currently on first position. In the final lap of the race, Coloma then started his charge in the last corner of the track. Coloma was able to get close to Kabahog and both crosses the start-finish line on a hairline difference. Keken Kabahog was declared winner of the race and Coloma settled for second. And it all boils down to this one final race of the year. The question here is who will represent the country in the 10th Yamaha ASEAN Cup in Indonesia. The YGP Finals was held in Robinson's Fairview, Quezon City. It is going to be a good matchup between the champions of Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. In the ACR 125 and 135, it was an all Ernie Daggio and Vinci Coloma show, finishing first and second place in both categories. Arlan de la Cruz, the top racer in Luzon, was able to grab third position in the ACR 125 MX, and Clifford Bacchus from Mindanao was able to grab third position in the ACR 135 MX. Daggio, Coloma, Bacchus, and De La Cruz, together with Flores and Carlos. These six riders will represent the flag in the 10th Yamaha ASEAN Cup. It is going to be an all-out war. Catch the complete coverage of the 10th Yamaha ASEAN Cup in Indonesia on the racing line soon.